afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Girl Get Up podcast. I am your host, the Aquarian Chancellor, and this is the podcast where I share my stories. I invite my guests on and they share their stories, all in hopes that it inspires you, the listening audience, to go out and discover your infinite possibilities. Okay, so I am going to open up the floor for my guest. His name is Chris Mohead. Chris, please share with the audience who you are and what you do.
What's up, everybody? My name is Chris Mohead, and I do a lot of things actually. But first and foremost, I'm a hip hop artist. Um, and then secondly, I'm a business owner. I own my own company. It's called Hylo Art, HYLOART. And what we do is we host a interview show slash open mic where we interview local artists, and then we let them perform on our stage, and then after that we do open mic so anybody else can get up there and perform too. And then thirdly, the third thing I do is filmmaker. I write, direct. I have a handful of films, but right now I have a film that I acted in. I starred in from a local film studio called Dust House. And the name of the film is Vivid, and it's available on Amazon Prime. VIVID, and it's available on Amazon Prime. So,
Oh, cool. I'm going to
hip
go
hop
watch.
artist, actor, business owner.
You said Vivid. I'm going to go watch that tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Vivid. It's an hour long. VIVID. Yep.
Okay. All
Mm-hmm.
right. Well, cool. All right. So let's talk about how you got into film. Like when you was a youth, I know everybody has this idea of who they want to be or how they envision their lives as an adult. Did you foresee yourself as an artist or a form of entertainment as a youth?
I think I always wanted to, but it felt out of the realm of possibility for me. Because when I was a kid, everybody didn't have internet. Internet wasn't what it is today. You know what I mean? Where I could film something at home and then post it.
Mhm.
So it was like, okay, I would love to do films. I always loved movies. Even when I was playing with toys, I used to make them act out a scene in a movie. You know what I mean? But up until recently, because like I said, we do an interview show and we end up interviewing filmmakers and stuff like that. And I told him, like, if you have a part in a movie, you know what I mean, like, hit me up, let me know. But even
Mhm.
before that, I was doing skits. I have comedy skits too, a few of them on YouTube. So I always, deep down, I feel like I always wanted to be an entertainer, but it took me a while to figure out how I could go about doing it. So, yeah.
As a youth, what was your favorite genre?
Action comedy. I love Rush Hour. That was my whole thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
That's cool. Okay. So what did you start first? You started in the mute on the music scene or did you
Yeah.
start in okay.
I started music. I was writing music in like middle school, and then when I got to high school, there was a guy who his name is Verse Young. His name was Young Verse. He got a little bit of steam in like the southeast area, but he used to ride my school bus, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to the studio," and I was like, "Wait." Like, you don't got to be signed. Like, I don't know. I thought you had to be signed. You had to be super famous to actually go to the studio. He's like, no, I'm going to the studio. Why don't you come with me? And I went with him to the studio, and then I started recording, for fun. Eventually, asked my mom for like recording equipment and stuff like that, and um I started recording myself. I went to school for it. I dropped out, but I went to school for it. And yeah, ever since then I've been recording myself at home. But music came first. And, I always would like sing and and rap and stuff like that to myself. So yeah.
You were expressing to your mother and your support system that you wanted to get into music and you wanted to get into the entertainment industry. Were they supportive of your dreams?
Always, all my parents have always been supportive. The only thing, and I'm sorry, my brain is scatterbrained, but my dad is my business partner. Remember I said I have a company called Hollow Art? My dad is actually my business partner. So he's like my manager. But even when I was a kid and I told him I wanted to do music, my mom was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, for sure." She got me the equipment for Christmas one year, which was just like FL Studios or whatever. But my dad was always like, "How is this gonna make you money?" Like that's always me, even to this day. how are we going to make money off of it? Because I'm a big dreamer, but you got to make money too. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I find that, and I was having this conversation with another young person. They were saying that they had to find that balance, like knowing that they needed to have somewhat of a career. And
Yes.
when you talk about entertainment and some of the older generation, they may not see that as a career. They may look at it as a hobby. So
Yeah.
how did you find that balance between finding something that's going to take care of you and sustain your lifestyle and pursuing your dream?
It's funny you say that because we still kind of go back and forth on it right now. But I say for the longest time, just for some context, I'm gonna be 32 years old this weekend. You know, um, I was doing music. Thank you. I was doing music all throughout high school. Like I said, all throughout college. My pops became my manager when I was around like 25. And in the beginning, he was always so up until that time, I was just creating music and just putting it out for my friends basically. So when he came along, a lot of the conflict was him trying to tell me, "Oh, don't do songs like this, do songs like this. Don't do this, don't do that." And I always would push back. I would always just create in secret and then put it out anyway. But the balance came where he started booking me shows. He started getting me to get on stage and perform and getting out in front of people because he was like, okay, you can do the music you want to do, but you gonna get on these stages and do it. You can do that weird stuff that you're doing, but you
Career.
gonna but you gonna get in front of people and do it. And that was good for me because that let me see like, okay, I can't just make it for my friends. I gotta, because everybody ain't feeling it. And eventually, like I said, we started to just kill open mics and stuff like that. And then eventually we wanted our own open mic. And we realized we can charge and make money off of that where I can perform. And then I can also have a platform to put other people on and we can also kind of make money. So that's kind of, the circle right there where we at.
Yeah, I like that model. But my question to you is, you had in your mind with you said you was putting out what you wanted to put out and you was putting out the music that your friends and stuff was liking.
Yeah.
And then listening to your dad and having his perspective and then getting out on the stage and seeing what the audience was like, and was it different from what you was envisioning?
Well, actually, what's funny is some of the songs weren't. It made me realize that some songs are for people to listen to with their headphones on, and some songs you need some songs for the club. You need some songs for the car. You don't need that, but I felt like I needed that. You know what I mean? Because I like to listen to it. Was so it just kind of gave me a different perspective, like something else to a different demographic to reach for. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because these are the people who are coming and showing up and spending money. So I can't just I'm still making the stuff that I like,
Right.
but maybe add something, maybe add a little bit of this, maybe say something about this, maybe make it a little more positive. So, this age group can come, things like that. Because he'll book me show. Our main audience at the spot where we do open mics is usually between like age 20 to 50s. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
it's a wide range. Um, but ultimately, like I still have to be myself no matter what. I still got to talk about my struggles or whatever. Talk about whatever's going on with me.
Yeah. You're the
Yeah,
artist. Right.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. We don't really have a lot of that here. We don't really have a lot of spaces where you can get interviewed and then perform on the stage. We put your face on the TV screens above you. We try to make it feel like a show. Like try to make you feel like a star while you're there. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I think that's how we get, that balance.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. Do you feel like a lot of the younger artists would like to foster that relationship with you before for that reason, like you give them that star quality before they even make it? It's kind of like giving them the confidence to really head out there if they really, if they really serious about their craft.
Yeah, definitely. I think it shows whether or not you actually want to do it or not. Because
Yeah.
again, I'm not judging you at all. You get up here and do what you want. Um, but I can't help if the crowd's not feeling you. I can't help if they talking, in the middle of your show. You know what I'm saying? If you want my advice, I don't give advice unless you want it. You know what I mean? If you want my advice, I would say like just keep doing it. Because I sucked in the beginning. Like you have to go through a period of being trash a little bit in order to learn. You know what I mean? In order to learn yourself. You gotta fail. It's necessary. So a lot of times they never come back. A lot of people they perform and they don't come back. A lot of times we have a lot of regulars. We have a lot of people that come every single week and get up there on that stage, whether it's empty or whether it's packed. And I respect that more than anything, because it's not always going to be packed. It's not always going to be empty. You just have to be ready, every time. But mostly it's mostly just a community. It feels like family. It feels like home, especially after we do it every Thursday. So it's kind of like at the end of the week. And it's just like, you've been working all week and you can just come and you have a place to be yourself and express yourself. That's what I really want it to be. Yeah. So if anybody's watching and they're in Columbia, South Carolina, and they want to be interviewed, then follow us on Instagram as HyloArt, HYLOART, and send a DM, and we'll try to schedule you in. I think we're booked for the year, but we 2025 we're gonna keep it up.
Okay.
Keep going with it.
Okay, cool. So talk about that. So now that you have that experience and you have your artist experience behind you and you're stepping in front of the camera,
Yeah.
was that transition like? And were there skills that you've learned as an artist that you were able to incorporate as an entertainer and like in front of the camera, an actor?
um, I'll say two things. Um, as far as like interviewing goes, I never wanted to be the interviewer. I wanted to be I wanted to be behind the scenes unless I was rapping or performing. And being forced to be in front of the camera was one of the best things because it made me more confident. Because I do deal with a little bit of social anxiety too. But acting, I think you just have to tap into a confident place. Like you just have to tap into your confidence, whatever that means. And both sides are about getting a reaction. You know what I mean? Like if you can, it's like when you're rapping and you get into a pocket or something like that, or you doing a call and response with the crowd and they're talking back to you and they're paying attention, it's like electrifying. It's a good feeling. You know what I mean? It feels really it keeps you going. You like get lost in the moment. And it's pretty much the same with acting. Like whether it's a scene where you're arguing with somebody and you just kind of get lost. Whenever you basically I guess that's the crossover. It's like you can get lost in both of them. Like when you're not thinking about the fact I'm acting in this scene, you just are. You just are in the scene.
Give me
You know what I mean?
3 confidence boosters that you feel has helped you.
Um, Shout out to my man. It's a friend, a mentor of mine. His name is the Dubber, and he told me when you get up on that stage, it's your house. He said it's your house, and these are guests in your house. You know what I mean? So it's your rules. Get up there and be yourself. Uh, so that's one piece of advice I can give you. Make sure you're doing something that you're into. If you get up there trying to pretend to be somebody else, you're gonna be nervous. You're gonna feel weird. You're gonna feel awkward. Be yourself. Just figure out what you like, and if you like it and you're into it, then the crowd will figure out a way to get into it too. Number three, and probably most importantly, rehearse. It's that simple. Rehearse. If you know what you're gonna say, again, the difference between conversation, you don't know exactly how the conversation is gonna go, but if you rehearse, you know when the beat's gonna come in, you know all your words, you know your steps, you know what you're gonna say, what you're gonna do when you're gonna do it. Your confidence will be there, like it, because rehearse it until you don't even have to think about it. It's second nature. That's the best advice I can give you. There is a scene where I was supposed to be sad, and I think I went a little overboard in real life. He didn't even use all of all of the footage, but I made myself sad. I thought about a bunch of sad stuff I had lost. I lost my grandmother around that time too. So I was kind of like tapping into that and trying to use that. And yeah, and even like that's just how I feel about it. Like it was a scene where I was arguing with the girl, and I was like, look, it's okay if you want to get in my face and all that. And at one point she did something like that to my head, like thumped my head or whatever. And I hated it, but I loved it because it made me mad for real. And I felt like it made the scene better. But for me, it's about just figure out a way to make it real to you. You know, if you're supposed to be uh, out of breath in the scene, like you're running from somebody, or like really run, get your lungs pumping, make it real so you can get lost in the scene. Don't. I guess the best acting advice I can give is don't act. Like just figure out a way to make it real and memorize your lines. To where it's second nature to you, and then don't act. Just react. So,
Okay.
I hope that helps.
Yeah, I'm sure it will help someone because it's different. Because first of all, you're like, oh my God, and you have to really tune in and pay attention to what's going on around you to kind of know where you're supposed to, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. And it's the weird thing where you gotta be confident, but you also gotta lose your ego.
mhm,
You have to step outside of yourself. Because it's easy to be like you said, everybody's looking at me, but 9 times out of 10, especially if you're acting, everybody's looking at themselves. Like everybody's worrying about what they got going on anyway. So it's
yeah,
just like, don't be timid, don't be anxious. I know it's easier said than done, but like you just have to figure out a way to get lost in the. You got to do interviews and podcasts and things like that. You got to, exposure. You have to do that. If you're expecting music to pay you more than your job, then you probably have to work harder at music than you do at your job. You have to network. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do all those things. So yeah.
taking all of that into consideration,
Mm-hmm.
what is your version of success?
My version of success is when this is my 9 to 5. It doesn't even matter if I'm a millionaire, billionaire. If this is what I'm doing primarily for money, I'm doing something I love for money, then that's what's important to me. I don't need to be the richest rapper. I don't need to be the best rapper. I just like when I'm able to feed my family off of just this. You know what I mean? But I know that's the boring answer. So I'm gonna say when I have $1 million and I have a mansion, when I get on double XL cover, you know what I mean? Because I've been on the radio too. Like I have a song on the radio and stuff like that, and that's cool. But I need to be financially stable off of this. Like when this is the main, my main meal ticket.
Well, no, that's the answer that makes sense.
You say what?
That's the answer that makes sense.
Yeah, right.
So the thing is like I said, the outside world, you might hear all that, right? But then you don't really understand like a lot of the work that goes into it. A lot of times that you have to go, just listen to any story. Samuel L. Jackson, what's her name? The comedian Tiffany Haddish.
Yeah,
All of these stories where people will tell you going 11 and 10, 12, 15 years, like
yeah.
straight grinding before they ever touched a million or anything that looked like a million.
Mm-hmm.
So to be able to just get to a place where it makes sense just to be able to live,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
Bet.
Thank you for sharing that because
Yeah.
it makes it attainable to someone who might feel like you said when you were younger, like you didn't really think about that because it seemed like it was so big, but
Yeah.
really just one little thing at a time.
Yeah. And that's why, and this might make a lot of people don't give up on your dreams, but this might turn a lot of people off. Is like if you're doing it for money, then you should probably not do it. If you're
Yeah.
doing music for money, you should probably not do it because it's a long road until you start making money off of it. You have to actually love it. And no one's 9 times out of 10, people are not going to really invest in you unless you're passionate about it, unless you really care about what you're doing. So yeah, the best trick is is for a rapper to make you seem like they don't care about
Yeah.
the music. You know what I mean? But no, you have to put in work. It is a job.
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah, the money will come because the money is really not attached to the art. It's attached to the people who
Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
If you
who
ain't
you can
connecting,
get in front of because of your love for the art.
yes, yes, for sure.
Build your community is very important.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Networking is important. Yeah. What type of films you think speaks best to represent your brand?
Okay, so for me, I have two. I only have two short films. I have a short film called The Cloudy Day Adventure of Robbie Raindrop, and I have a short film called Good Grief and the Quest for Peace. And um, I'm realizing just from writing that a topic or just a theme that I like to come back to is just black men showing vulnerability. You know,
Okay.
the Robbie Raindrop and the Cloudy Day Adventure of Robbie Raindrop. I know it's a long title, but the concept of the movie is a man going to work. He has a pregnant wife at home. He kisses her goodbye, and he has to go to work. He has to get to work on time, or else he's gonna get fired. He runs out of gas. He gets harassed by drug dealers and police and stuff like that. And then at the end of his long, stressful day, he comes home to his queen, and she pampers him and she makes him feel good. And I was trying to show the benefit of that of having something at home to ground yourself. Having a place to reset at home. Like a charging. It's like a charging station, and just the benefit of having peace at home. That was the theme of that one. And then the other one was Good Grief and the Quest for Peace, which is it's about two criminals and they're going to rob somebody, and the whole way there, on the way to rob somebody, one of the criminals is going through the 5 stages of grief. So at first he's like they're just in the car. It's the conversation. He's arguing. I mean, he's yelling about his girl. He just went through a breakup and he's mad about it. Then he's in denial. He's like, oh, she's gonna come back or whatever. And then he gets depressed and he gets sad. And then they rob the guy. And then they have a conversation. And then it's acceptance. So yeah, I think I really I find those stories like that because there's not a lot of them. Just stories where it's black men where you're still being a man, you're still taking care of, you're still taking care of what I consider a man's responsibility, but you're still being vulnerable and not losing masculinity in the process. That's something I find I don't see a lot of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that. So where can the audience find those?
They're,
Are they on YouTube?
they're yeah, they're both on YouTube. They're under my personal YouTube page, if I'm not mistaken. Chris Mohead on YouTube. It might be under one of them might be under Hollow Art. I gotta double check, but yeah, you can check both of them because under Hollow Art is where we have all the interviews that we've done. But you check under Chris Mohead, it should be the short films under there. So
All right. Well, thank you, Chris, for joining me today. I really appreciate it. But I do have one last question for you that I ask everybody that
okay.
comes onto the show. This is a platform for inspiring people to believe in their infinite possibilities. So, on the outro, give your best words of wisdom to help inspire someone along their journey.
Okay, right now?
Yep.
Okay, so look, don't let somebody tell you what you can't do. I know that sounds cliche, but it's cliche for a reason. So many people told me I can't do this. Like, you need to focus on music. You need to focus on this. You need to focus on that. Do everything that only you know what you can do. So just tap into that and work hard and stop playing with the gifts that God gave you. God gave you them gifts for a reason. So stop playing with it. Like, take it serious. If you want to earn money, if you want to be successful in music or acting or whatever it is, whatever your thing is, dig deep and work hard at it and outwork yourself yesterday. Work hard. That's what it takes.